everyone, Kurt the Good Times card collector here, and today for our Whatever Wednesday we're going to be doing something new. I'm going to call it Better Late Than Never. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a Beckett magazine from 25 to 30 years ago, and I'm going to answer the readers' questions. Our first question. Inquiring minds want to know. I have 3 questions. First, how do you price unopened rack packs with a superstar showing? How about one with multiple stars showing? Also, I know you don't purposely price Fleer higher, but it seems strange to me that Fleer's 87 through 89 sets are worth more than the other major companies, with the exceptions of Upper Deck in 1989. Why is that? Third, more like fifth, it would seem to me that players' XRCs should be priced higher than RCs. I believe this for 2 reasons. First, the XRC is older than the RC. Second, a player's extended rookie card is from an extended set that can be purchased only from a dealer. From Matt Reimer in Massachusetts. Alright, Matt. Well, if you do have superstars in your cello packs that you can see out the front, then basically you can price that as a mint condition card along with the price of the pack. Nowadays we have grading in the future. It's really popular, so it could probably, the premium would be higher now than it would be back in your day. Fleer's higher set value. Well, I think the set values have to do with what cards are in the set. Fleer had a lot more valuable cards, including the 89 Griffey, and you have the Ripken Bat card was also an 89 Fleer, and Dunruss and Tops. You know, especially Tops, 89 Tops, 88 Tops, they didn't have a lot of rookies, and Fleer was very good at getting rookies in their sets, and that's why they're priced better. At least now they are. I think they always are. And XRCs, extended rookie cards I think are just from the dealers, so cards that come from packs are worth more because there is more, it's harder to pull them from packs. Basically there's a scarcity of how many you can get. If you get it from a dealer that gets them in sets, then there's, it's easily found. But from packs, it would be random to pull them, so that's why the value is higher, probably then and now. Thanks for the question, Matt. Our next question comes from Ken Golden from Scoreboard, New Jersey. Licensed, sort of. I noted an editorial comment in your September issue that stated Classic was not licensed as a card set. While we are licensed as a board game, our license clearly states that we are licensed to produce trading cards, provided these cards are issued in conjunction with the game and not sold separately. Alright, Ken, that's great. Thanks for clearing that up for us. Brian Johnson writes to us from Ontario, Canada. Sick of the Mick. Every time I pick up your magazine, there is something in it about Mickey Mantle. You guys talk about him as though if he was the best player to ever play baseball. I would like to see a little less Mantle and more Willie Mays, Roberto Clemente, Johnny Bench, and Willie Stargell. Just to name a few. Mickey was great, but he didn't invent the game. Also, how can Bob Uecker's 1962 Topps rookie card be worth $110? A few Miller Lite commercials doesn't command a price tag like that. The guy had a career average around 200. Wow, Brian, that's some harsh words for everybody. I think Mickey Mantle was focused on a lot during your time because we didn't have like the internet now that we have. So we have a lot more connections with information. And back when you wrote this, I think it was more hand-penciled and paper. So a lot of the people like Mickey Mantle were really popular. It was easy just to kind of pass on stuff about him. And it was a lot harder to find information and do stories about players that were less known. And I think there's more of a dive with the internet now with different players, and you can search so many people and find out so much information so quickly now. It's easy to expand your horizons with baseball players and learn about everybody. So you are ahead of the curve in looking for more information on players. Bob Uecker, I don't know about the Bob Uecker thing. I bet his card is not $110 now though. So that might have been also because of the lack of the internet. you know, it was publications and hearsay and dealers that, you know, made a lot of these prices for cards and were able to influence the market because collectors were not able to share information, and they weren't able to share prices and selling prices, so people could kind of mold the market how they wanted in their own little small card shops back in the day when you wrote this letter. So that's probably why. Our next question. Bullish on the card market. I noticed an article in Kid Corner about common problems in your June 1989 issue. I believe I may have a better solution than Tommy Wheatley. No offense, Tommy. Shots fired. My solution, if you have enough money and storage space, hand your commons down generation to generation, then in the future, all the commons will be worth $10 each. That's what I'm going to do with my little brother Sawyer. I'm going to give him my commons. Also, you can sometimes sell your 5-cent commons for as much as 20 cents to some dealers. Wow. My word of advice on commons is to sell, trade, hand them down, or simply just burn your commons. I'm kidding. Travis Sparks from Indiana. Well, Travis, I'm not sure that they quite went up. Your 1990 tops, your 1990 Fleer and Dunrest, I'm not sure they quite went up to $10 each over the last, say, 30 years, 25 years. So I'm not sure about that part. I'm sure your brother, Sawyer, has a lot of great cards by now, a lot of great comments you sent to him. I would like to know what dealers are going to give you 20 cents for your commons, because I will go ahead and send them quite a few to trade in. Also, not sure about trading or sending down commons generation to generation. I'm not sure how pleased my girls are going to be when I show up with the truck and say they have inherited my 100,000 commons collection. Next question. No game, no memories. I have a ticket to the 1984 Cubs World Series game. It has a face value of $30. I have heard of this kind of ticket, so I asked around, and one dealer tried to buy it from me for $30. I promised I'd call back after I found out how much it's really worth. Do you have any idea? From Jason in Illinois. Well, Jason, I feel like the value of that ticket has probably gone down with recent events. I think you should have took that $30 back in 1989. That was probably a pretty good price. I'm not even sure how much that ticket, I don't know if that ticket would be worth $30 now, those phantom tickets. So I would take the 30. So if I traveled in my time machine, went back and talked to you, I'd say 30 would be a good price to take for that. So take the money and be happy. Next question. Great game, great memories. In 1987, I went to an Angels-A's game in Anaheim when Mark McGwire broke the rookie home run record. I still have the ticket stub. I was wondering if the stub would be worth anything. John Emmett. I'd say back in 1990 when you were trying to sell it, I would say it would be better to hold on to it. I don't think it would be worth much. It'd be really hard to find a specific buyer for it unless you sort of like a card show. I think now with the internet, you could sell it, but I'm not sure how much money you would get for that. I think its value has probably gone up, but since McGwire, I'm sorry, John, but McGwire's kind of image has kind of gone downhill over the years. I know he was really like an up-and-comer and kind of like all-American hero style in '89, which I thought was great, but things have gone kind of the other way lately with McGwire, so I don't know that that would get a lot of interest anymore. So you might have actually been able to get more for it if you sold it like at a card show or something now in 1989 than trying to hold on to it and selling it, say, 30 years down the road. I think you'd be better off. So that's what I would say, John. Our next question from Joseph J. Trove from New Jersey, building a sense of history. I think the small inserts provided by Score and Sportsflix are overlooked. These little cards provide a lot of historical information about players past and present. For example, Paul Wanner, I'll say Wayner, had a lifetime 333 average, had 200 or more hits 8 times, and hit better than 300 his first 12 years as a pro. I know this may be trivial, but to young people, these cards provide a good source of comparison between today's superstars and past ones. Well, thanks, Joseph. I think you're right. I think it depends on the person. I really like those trivia cards. I know the ones you're talking about, and it's kind of a new thing. And you know what? To be honest, they did that with you with like 90 score, and really they kind of went away from that. I'm sorry to say. That was kind of the only time they really did that sort of thing, with putting questions and trivia and history in packs. I'd say for the next like 25 or so years, they kind of went away from that style of putting historical information in cards. So definitely enjoy those. I still enjoy those and look back, and I think it is neat to have knowledge from old Hall of Famers in cards. I think again with the invent of the internet in a few years coming here, also changes things a little bit, where people can get much more information and don't necessarily need to get it from cards. But I think in 1990 it was a great idea to really broaden horizons of kids and other collectors who want to learn about other players that maybe don't show up in the mainstream media. And we'll finish things off with a little editorial, and then we will look at our hot and cold list for this episode here. So first, this is No Moss. Does Kevin Moss belong at number 2 hot? He's a good-looking slugger with a lefty swing tailored for Yankee Stadium, the old Yankee Stadium. And he enjoyed an amazing homer binge in August. But he's old. He's old for a rookie, 25. I guess it's old. Hit mostly solo shots. Well, how's that his fault? And slumped in September. He also plays Don Mattingly's position. And has yet to hit for average. In 1991, we'll find out if Big Apple Hype has produced the next Mattingly or the next Sam Horn. So looking back, I would say we're leaning towards more of Sam Horn. And oh man, Mattingly. It just goes to show, at that point, they thought Mattingly was going to play forever and be like that guy, like forever. And that was, 91 was probably pretty close to the end. He didn't play a couple more years. I forgot when he, got injured and started just not able to play. But, man, there was optimism that he was the guy there at first base. But that all went away. Moss went away, and that was the early 90s Yankees. So they definitely lived it. And we'll wrap things up with our hot and cold list. This picture I have is a little hard to read, so I'm just going to look at it just for some, kind of questionable hot or nots that I might have not thought of in 1990 to be hot. Obviously, King Griffey Jr. is number 1, so, I mean, right. Kevin Moss, number 2. He was the hype. And we got Bo and Jose and Ricky Henderson, Nolan Ryan, Cecil Fielder, Ryan Sandberg, David Justice. He was from nothing to 9. John Olerud is a little bit surprised. I don't remember Olerud being very popular card-wise in 1990, but he's number 10 on the list. And Ben McDonald, he had a lot of hype. Who else do we have? Then we got Barry Bonds and Grace and Strawberry, McGuire, Ramon Martinez. I don't remember having a lot of hype, but he's number 16 on the hot list. Will Clark, Roger Clemens, Matt Williams, Sandy Alomar Jr., Frank Thomas, all the way down to 21. This is 1990. This is his rookie year, too. I'm surprised he didn't have as much hype. He wasn't even listed the month before. And this is November 1990. Yes, this is the end of that first rookie year with his 90s rookie Topps card. I guess he didn't get a lot of attention then. And then we have Bob Bonilla, Todd Zeile, Bob Welch. It's a little surprised to see Bob Welch on there. Maybe because I think he was at the A's, and the A's were doing really well. 90, they were in the World Series with, I think, the Reds and lost. And then the year before, they had won against the Giants, so maybe that's why he's on there. Gary Sheffield, Greg Jeffries, Lenny Dykstra. 1990 score. 1990 score made it on the hot list. I wonder why the 90 score set is on the hot list. That's a little surprising. I can't think of a rookie card in the 90 score set that would make them be on the hot list. I don't know if any of you leave a comment below if you can have any idea why 90 score would be on the hot list at the time. And then we have Don Mattingly and Carlton Fisk on there at 30, just kind of randomly. That's the only kind of like the older player on the list. The weird thing is they have players that are on both lists. So the cold list is Pete Rose, which we know why things were cold with Pete Rose, especially back in '90. They were really, like, this was, what was it, like 4 years after he got tossed out? So that was really fresh, and they were like, we still hate Pete Rose. Everything's come around now. But, you know, back in 1990, like, that was like a fresh wound. He was number 1, and he was number 1 last time, too. But Don Mattingly's number 2. I wonder if that's with injuries or sports flicks. I don't know why all the hate on sports flicks. You know, even back in the day when they first came out, people hated sports flicks. I know people don't like it now, but even back in the day, it was on the cold list. Mike Greenwell. I thought Greenwell was pretty well liked and collected, but he's on the cold list here. Jose Canseco? See, that's I don't understand. He's on the cold list, but he's also number 4 on the hot list. I don't know how you can be number 5 on the cold list and number 4 on the hot list at the same time, but whatever. Ben McDonald's also on the cold list. And Matt Noakes. I don't like Matt Noakes. And Todd Zeal, Earl Hershiser. I'm not sure why he's on the cold list. And, well, we know Jerome Walton. So I guess the Jerome Walton experiment hype was pretty over by 1990, November of 1990, because he's on the cold list here. It's the Moss McDonald hype train right now for 1990 November, and the Todd Zeal, Jerome Walton hype train derailed. Anyway, that's it for our whatever Wednesday. We did Hindsight 2020 or Better Late Than Never. I'm not sure what I'm going to call it yet, so we'll see. Anyway, thanks for watching. Comment below if you have any comments about our 1990 November information and any comments about any of the questions. Have a good one.